Hello everyone and welcome back to Austin Talks, where today we are covering a series. Obviously I do a lot of series on this channel, but this series is really it's one of those series that I never thought I'd actually watch, or it's anything that would actually exist. That's what I think why it's a really good show. This is a show that's on Netflix, and I don't know if a lot of people have heard of it, but honestly I do think if giving it a watch would be a really good idea, because it is a very good show. So without further ado, I think we should just get right into it, because we've got a load of theories and a load of seasons to cover. So the first off is obviously Season 1. Some shows like sitcoms have a really slow start, but this show actually was not one of them. As I've explained before, a lot of series have a really slow start, but due to the concept of this show, it wasn't slow at all, and the show had a really good start, and it did really carry on until season 5, which I think is like a good, because that's consistency. Season 1 was just like a collection of funny moments, and for sitcoms that is like what it should be, because sitcoms and comedy shows need to be funny. Then there's also occasions where they try and be like over funny, and then it'll turn out to be a failure, but that's not the case here. But this didn't delve deep into any storylines or anything, which is actually what I think a sitcom should be. Not like rom-coms are different, but I guess that the only storyline part of this show was probably Cheyenne's baby and the walkout, which I think was interesting, but that immediately carried over to season 2, so I guess that's when all the storylines started to kick in. Season 2 is very much like season 1, unless but it had a storyline. But this season I felt like season 1 should have been, which is slow, because it's weird, because they basically they changed it. Now it was really slow with the storyline and all, but it was good when episodes 10 to 20 came around, because that was when the real drama came in. We had corporate something, and then we've had the tornado, and then Cheyenne's wedding, and then the marriage counseling for Amy. So yeah, all and Black Friday, a lot of that was intertwined into that time period, which is a very good storyline and very dramatic, which is a really good thing for the show. And it was rough seeing Amy in the state that she was in, and many other people tried to poke at it, but if anything it made it worse, which I know I know when people try and help, it does backfire, but that's just life sometimes. Yeah. Now the tornado episode was actually the best, because it brought out everyone's true colors, and while they weren't colors, they were actually there. They weren't good colors. It brought out not the best in everyone, but it was it did show how people really felt about each other, like Carol and Sandra. That was pretty clear at the beginning, but you get the point. And then Glenn, with his whole reputation that was tarnished during this time, because everyone's obviously very frantic. So yeah, I think that was really good to see. Maybe not been the greatest of colors, but it was there. Yeah, season 3 was actually really good. There was no time jump between this and season 2 whatsoever. There was basically just it felt like there was no time jump, at least. I like this season because it evolves on it evolves on Amy as a person, and that is how she has had to adjust and turn to her new life. And it is during this whole season when Amy falls in love with Jonah, kind of, and that whole drama actually starts. And then the beginning of season 3 was funny, but and it was full of good laughs right out, like from episode 10 to onwards. And romantic drama was like the biggest thing with this series, at least especially season 3, because with the whole thing with Jonah, then Kelly, and then Amy. I mean, Amy and Kelly basically fought over Jonah, and Jonah knew that, yet he just stuck with it. But I don't think Jonah really deserved that. He just didn't. I mean, he was just like, oh yeah, I wanna, I like both of you, but like, no, I want Jonah. And then he's like, okay, yeah. So I feel bad, but he knew his heart was always with Amy. Just like he was in denial. I'm surprised this is the actual cover for season 4, but anyway, this season one did like this season did one thing and one thing only. It reflected on the events of season 3, and then evolved Amy's and Jonah's inevitable relationship. That is all it did. I loved Saeed. I actually think his character was really good, and like he was a great character, and like this season, he also gives us an idea of what corporate is like in the context of the show, because corporate is always related to as a big bad, but you actually get in this show, because they're like the big villain of the show, and they're actually shown in a different aspect, in different light, and it did like how corporate affects the team. It's also during the season when Amy is the manager, and she shifts, and her shift is, it's really done quickly, and I don't know why they didn't do it over 2 seasons. I think they should have done it like at the end of season 4 she gets it, and then at the start of season 5 she actually becomes manager. But no, they did it really quickly. But it is still a good season, and I actually think this season 4 may have been my favorite due to like the evolution of Amy and Jonah's relationship, and all that, and like Glenn had actually a bit of a was it season, I think it was season 4 was also when Mateo and his issue got out of hand, which was obviously very sad, but it was again a really good plot point. The penultimate season. Now, this season was basically a new equilibrium, and the Amy being the manager was like the new normal, and this was carried out throughout the whole of the season, right up until the very end. And then when California started to be rolled into it, it did really reflect on how she runs her operation better than Glenn. I mean, there's no doubt about that. And she is and like how she is authoritarian and like all that. And the beginning was really good when how the drama with Mateo started, as I just said, but it was from like this point with Zephyr that this new equilibrium formed, because it's just like the Zephyr is the new top company, and then AB is the new manager. That was just like normal, and this then leans on like the California stuff then leads on to season 6. Now, the beginning of this season was actually really good because of its premise and its integration of what was happening in the real world at the time, and I actually think that was a really good reflection. And also, it's at the time of release, but after Amy left, the rest of the season felt so forced. I think Amy did carry this the show. But the rest of the season felt forced. I also liked how Zephyr's connections and conspiracies, they all actually played a really good role in the character development of some people. Even Marcus, I mean, who thought he could get one? But it was during this season that my interest actually started to decline, but this doesn't actually take away from the rest of the series. So if I had to rank which is my least favourite, I'd obviously go with this one. But the other ones, they're still pretty good. I'd say season 4 is my favourite. This one just had declined in interest, and I'm glad it was the last one. Now, that's every season covered. I think we're down into fan theories. I did take a little glimpse at these, and I actually really do like them, and they're pretty good theories. So without further ado, let's just get right onto the first one, which is, why did Tate disappear? Now, when researching for these fan theories and looking across, this was the one that came out. This came up the most, and there was many different theories. This is the one that that we all chose. Now, after season 3, this man was nowhere to be seen. But why? This theory will blow your mind. There's a bit of a statement there, but at the end of season 3, there was a big accident with the videotape, and all that was broadcast everywhere, including the store. It was clear that Tate had feelings for her, and knowing that happened, he had just left because it was too much for him and became a screenwriter for Limitless in 2.0. Yeah, that could be the case, because obviously when he got angry at Amy because he was because of how Amy treated him. So that actually does make a lot of sense, and that could definitely be the case. I mean, it's Limitless 2.0, might as well, and I like that little nod to an episode, which is the one on screen, and I actually think that's a pretty good that could have been why Tate disappeared, but it is just a theory. As I say that, I just read the bottom. Now, was there more than one foot thief? Good question. Now, throughout the whole series, there was a big mystery in who was the foot thief, and it was revealed at the very last episode that it was the person you at least expected, which was Elias. But Elias may not have been the only one. There was a point where he couldn't have been, because of the timing. So yes, there was another one. But who? I'm just throwing it out there. Marcus. Marcus may have wanted revenge for his thumb incident and never got paid back. So he may have taken his anger out on the store and made up a statement about, hey, it's just a theory. That actually still stands. That's a not bad theory. I think maybe we need a bit more evidence than that, but I do think that may be quite valid. That is quite valid, because Marcus would never liked how he only got paid so much for his thumb. So that very much could be the case. Character development, sure, but I'm not too sure. Dina separated Amy and Jonah. What? When Amy became manager, Dina tried to get what she wanted, and throughout the whole series, she never projected any happiness for the relationship, because although she was big and tough, she always wanted Amy's approval. To keep this the same, when she found out about the California job, she jumped on it and immediately tried to convince her to go for it, and she knew that this would annoy Jonah, and this long-term plan of deceit did it all pay off until the very end of season 6. That's a stretch, but I do actually get what you're saying. Dina really tried to use Amy as the manager to get her own way. That's kind of her character, though, so that I get that. Yeah, I guess she could have done that, but it is a really big stretch, and I think it's a big it's a big stretch from her. But she never really was a fan of the relationship, and she always tried to use Amy because of her managerial position. So this actually could be the case. Obviously, with Jonah, they obviously had always a conflict, because Jonah was the one on the moral high ground. Dina was the more ruthless one. So, yeah, and there was no relationship or friendship there. So, yeah, I think the dots are starting to add up. Amy fell for Jonah on day 1. Okay, now this is not a theory rather than a statement, but for those who think this is all mumbo jumbo, let's look at the evidence. I like that intro. The star of Mormon had an impact, and it was that very night that when she started to contemplate if being married was a good thing by looking at her ring, which would actually indicate the season 5 conflict. Now, next, about the whole series up until season 2, she was hazing him, which is a typical thing to do when you like someone. How's it looking now? That's actually a lot of evidence. I mean, it's not written in the greatest of ways. It's literally we've got this, we've got that, we've got this, no explanation. But yeah, actually, that's all really good. That's a really good thought. I mean, yeah, I do think Amy did fall for Jonah on day 1, but she was just in denial for the whole time. I do believe that. So yeah, that very much could be the case. And Amy did fall for Jonah at one point. There's no really way to justify when, and it could, as I say, it could be the case that it was Amy's, it was Jonah's day one. Is Superstore a part of the sitcom universe? There is a theory that the sitcom universe is a collective universe of all sitcoms. Superstore is another generic sitcom that is based on the idea of floor workers working in a store and how they got up to that moment. But instead of making it bad, it was portrayed in a comedic way, which is a very common element of sitcoms. Which of them could be in the... Each of them could be in the same universe, because there are little hints and references to others that are indirectly mentioned, but this could very much be a possibility. I thought of this myself, actually. I do think there are actually, Superstore, Brooklyn Nine-Nine, and then other sitcoms are probably in the same universe, just we don't know it. But there are indirect mentions to a combined universe, and while it may not touch on that, they may not this is I'm gonna call my guy in Brooklyn. It's not gonna work like that. I think it's just gonna be subtle hints. Myrtle's actually Jonah's great aunt. Okay. Oh, I'm liking these theories. It was never said why Jonah got a load of money when she died, and like everything, it all happened for a good reason. It was said that Myrtle never had any other person in her family, at least she thought. She must have tried to track down someone, so her will had to go somewhere, and then soon found out that she was his great aunt. Knowing her character was like, she probably didn't really care about, but other than that, she just sent the money away. It is sad to think that they never knew they were related, but at least they met each other. I'm trying really hard to say, okay, I try and to critique some of the theories. That's what I do. There's a lot of evidence and theory in there, and I actually really like that theory. That's a great theory, actually. Whoever wrote that, good on you. That's a great theory, honestly. Yeah, he could be. Definitely Myrtle and Jonah may be related in some shape or form, but yeah, that very much could be the case. Cloud9 turned into Blockbuster. What? Huh? What? At the end of season 6, it was said that Cloud9 was closing and changing into a new mega mall type of thing, and this could very well be the case, but there is a good chance that Cloud9 was taken over by Blockbuster at first. Blockbuster was only there for a season, if that, and the store turned into Blockbuster. Also, if we look at the timeline when Cloud9 closed and when Blockbuster first opened, it now looks like there is no more connections than the TV creators are letting on. Okay. I'm gonna have to disprove that. Blockbuster is a series that takes place in the 90s. This takes place in modern day. So, you definitely, Blockbuster could have turned into Cloud9, that's a for sure. But Blockbuster would have had to been neighbors with Sturgis and Sons, which is obviously the construction, the warehouse thing that Glenn worked in at first. I'm gonna have to disprove that. But definitely they could link in some shape or form with the sitcom universe, but I do think I've had a theory that Blockbuster may have been a Cloud9 something, but this is one of those theories that the information's just twisted on its head, so it's not the right time period. That's it. Is that it? Oh, that's not a lot of theories. Well, everyone, I hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope you actually do go give Superstore a watch if you haven't already. Now, without further ado, if you enjoyed this video, please leave a like and subscribe, and comment what else you'd like to see on the channel. And if you enjoyed this video, obviously, as I say, just go give it a watch. Without further ado, everyone, if you have just leave your comments in the below section, and I hope you all have a great day, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye.